So much frothing at the mouth this weekend because there are an unbelievable amount of good games to see across all four divisions. And we're all across them here on EFL TV. All thanks to Furniture Gully Holden and HSV, where driving and local footy means a great deal. Yes, welcome to another big edition of EFL TV. 6 rounds down, plenty more to go. But Frosty Bear joins me as always. We look ahead to week 7 in the EFL. And across all 4 divisions, there are some outstanding games. This league just keeps getting better and better.
Oh, every week there's results that surprise a few. There's some results that we expect. There's some big wins, some really close games. It's just a fantastic competition right across all 4 divisions.
Well, some big wins. Let's talk about that one. Vermont defeated Scoresby by nearly 30 goals on the weekend, Frosty. 178 points for all those playing at home. I can't remember a game like that in Division 1 of recent memory of Vermont having had the biggest victory, 270-odd points back in the 1980s. But that is a huge, huge win. Just seemed like everything clicked for the Eagles on the weekend.
They just had one of those days out against Scoresby on the weekend. Scoresby, a very young side, but Benny, that was almost child abuse on the weekend.
It was really convincing to say the least. Well done to the Eagles. And, of course, well done to Matty Gregg, who kicked his 700th goal on the weekend. Frosty, Matty Gregg, arguably the best forward we've probably seen in the EFL ever.
Oh, he's proven himself over such a long time, continually kicks bags of goals, and just a proven performer. So congratulations to Matty, 700 goals. Yeah, probably stakes to claim as perhaps the best full forward we've seen in the competition.
Statistically, very, very good. Kicked his 700th goal on the weekend, so well done to Matty Gregg. Now, speaking of big teams in Division 1, Noble Park and Norwood are 2 of those teams, and they face each other this weekend. It's a big couple of weeks for the Norsemen, Frosty, because they've got Noble Park this weekend, then Baldwin the weekend after. This is arguably the 2 biggest weeks in the club's recent memory. I would have thought. What's kind of attitude do you reckon they'll be taking into these next couple of weeks?
Oh, they would no doubt have set themselves for a really big challenge ahead. I mean, they're playing 2 of the real premier sides in the competition. I think they consider themselves one of those premier sides. I definitely do. They're a worthy contender. So who knows? I mean, they might be really up for those 2 games. I wonder if the Dennis Knight Cup will be on offer this weekend. Obviously, Dennis, a dual premiership coach with Noble Park, now coaching the Norsemen.
Interesting to note that there's a Noble Park Past Players Premiership Day. So I don't know if Dennis will be rocking up to that one. But let's find out from the man himself. Braden Ingram headed out to Norwood training during the week and caught up with new coach Dennis Knight.
Thanks, boys. Down here at Norwood on a picturesque night at Mullen Reserve. Dennis, 5 wins, 1 loss to start the season. Would you consider that to be a pass mark when you began the season?
Oh, no doubt. I think any side would take that. Puts us certainly up in the top 3 at the moment and gives us a good platform going forward.
You only had the 1 loss, which was against Vermont by just less than a kick. What did you take out from that loss?
I think we take a fair bit of it out of it in terms of, we only lost that probably in the last couple of kicks of the day, made a couple of mistakes at the end, and just the importance, especially against the top sides, that you've got to play 100 minutes and any mistake can really hurt you.
What on field has impressed you the most that maybe you didn't expect to see at the start of the year?
Oh, look, we're probably where I thought we could be in terms of ability. Obviously, we're playing a different style to what was previously played here, but they've adapted pretty well. And look, I think we've got a pretty good overall team, consistency in our effort and level of ability, and we're going pretty well.
If you had to identify one area where you wanted to improve on to be a contender this year, what would it be?
I think we'd be pretty honest in saying our skill efficiency probably has let us down at different stages, and if we can fix that side, and look, we're only 6 games into the year. If we can get that right, I think we can be pretty dangerous.
Obviously, there's the players that we all know that always tear it up. But if there's one player that surprised you this year, who would it be?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. Look, obviously our better players are playing well. I mean, the pleasing thing is, like an Alex Calder's going really well for us, hasn't played a lot of senior football. Zach McCubbin, who we've brought in from the under-19s, he's playing consistent senior footy as well and going okay. And that probably as a coach, gives you a lot of pleasure as well.
And now you've got a huge week, 2 weeks coming up against Noble Park and Baldwin. What do you expect of the boys in this game? Is there anything different you need them to do?
Oh no! Look, we've just got to perform for 100 minutes. We've been pretty good in most games. Certainly had a couple of little different lapses at different stages, but look, we've just got to perform on the big stage and perform consistently well. And in the big games, you do need to lift your level a little bit to do well.
And you spoke of your disposal efficiency before. Is that something that's started to improve, or is something that you really need to see come along in the next few weeks?
Oh yeah, look, we identified that weeks ago, probably even pre-season. It's something that's just an ongoing thing in progress. So, look, we're getting better at it, and certainly the times when where we have been really good at it, we've really hurt sides on the scoreboard, and other times, defensively we're still very good and sort of hold up a damn wall occasionally. But look. Once again, it's not as if it's horrendous. It's just picking on something that we'd just like to be a little bit better at.
And you coached Noble Park to back-to-back premierships, and this is the first time you've come up against them, against your old side. Is there any feeling or emotion associated with this game, or it's just another game of footy?
Oh, look, apart from being a 10-year premiership reunion, which is probably pretty important after the game, look, to me, it's just another game. Obviously, I've got great memories from the football club, and they are, they're a great club, and I enjoyed my time there and all the rest of it. But obviously, I'm at Norwood now, and we'll be doing our best to beat them. And might feel a little bit different for me walking in there on the weekend. But obviously, got a job to do.
And will you be at that 10-year premiership reunion afterwards?
I'll be there afterwards. I won't be there at 12 o'clock when the other boys start. So knowing the playing group that we had then, there might be a few messy boys around by 6 when I get in there.
Very good to hear. Well, Dennis, good luck for the game. Good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
No worries, thanks.
Let's have a look at Division 2 Frosty, and an amazing result last weekend. Most results went to plan across all 4 divisions, but the one that stood out in terms of upsets was Waverley Blues knocking off North Ringwood. Now, we've got a big game this weekend between Montrose and North Ringwood, which we'll talk about in a second. But there's just a bit of word around that North Ringwood might have been focusing on the Montrose game instead of the Waverley Blues game come last Saturday. What do you read into it? Is it a case of North Ringwood being down, or have we underestimated the Waverley Blues? How do you read it?
It could be a little bit of both. I mean, it's really hard to just focus 1 week at a time when you're sitting 5-1, like the North Ringwood side were, having come up from Division 2. They've got a huge blockbuster game coming up this week against Montrose. Perhaps their attention just drifted a little bit ahead, but they came up against the Waverley Blues side that Brett Davidson has now got on the board. They've won 2 in a row. They were disappointing early on, but as you know, with any side that is coached by Brett Davidson, you're going to get a real genuine hard work ethic. They really worked hard. They fancy themselves. Perhaps they're one of these teams that can really lift to play sides above them on the ladder, but then may drop games against teams below them. That's probably something that Davo really needs to work on.
Well, we'll watch that Waverley Blues space with plenty of interest, but we'll definitely watch this Montrose North Ringwood space this weekend. The biggest game of Division 2, no doubt, so far this season. And Braden Ingram headed out to North Ringwood training during the week to see how the club's shaping up ahead of a huge blockbuster encounter.
Thanks, Ben. Down here with North Ringwood Ruckman, Adam Tuck. Adam, before last week, you hadn't lost a game, and I think most people thought you were going to get an easy win. That wasn't the case. What happened?
I think we just didn't come out to play, I guess. We weren't training that well during last week, and sort of showed during the game. We had a good last quarter, but that was about it. So sort of came back at them a bit that last part, but didn't end up getting the win. So
do you think just on the track and then going out into the game, you just thought it was going to be almost like an easy victory, just a cruisy sort of run?
No, we didn't think that. I guess there was a few boys that had been injured last week and didn't rock up to training, and were either at physios or had work commitments and things like that. So it just sort of showed during the week. So I think this week, Morley, I guess, has really emphasised everyone on the track and make sure we're ready for Montrose this week.
And what was Brett Moore's message after the game? Was it a cop a lashing, or was it more of a positive message?
Well, it wasn't a lashing, but I guess he was disappointed as all the blokes were. I guess we nearly ended up winning it there in that last part. I think if the game went for another 5 seconds, we could have potentially kicked a goal after the siren. But as Morley said, I guess if we ended up winning the game, we would have pinched it from them anyway. They played better than us, so we just got to work at training this week and make sure we're ready for Montrose this week.
And you speak of Montrose, although you are not undefeated anymore, it's still a mouth-watering clash. What are you looking forward to about the game?
Well, I guess I've played Montrose. When I first started playing seniors, we used to play Montrose back when we were in Division 2. So I haven't played them for a while. They've always been a tough team, always pretty big, heavy team. But we got a few new blokes now, so we're a pretty quick running team. So hopefully we can sort of run them off their feet a bit.
And this game probably gives us a really good indicator of how you're going to go if you make finals and if you're a real premiership contender. Has the group spoken about the enormity of the match?
Oh well, I guess it's been talked about as a big match. I guess it's 1 and 2 at the moment, but we're only 6 games in, so it's a bit hard to tell at the moment. I guess we've had a good start to the year, which is really positive, but there's still a lot of the season to go. So, and we're all the boys are aware of that. So.
And have you noticed an improvement in the boys from last year to round 6 this year, or do you think you've been playing good enough football to play Division 2 footy for a while now and it's just sort of moved into it?
Yeah, well, I guess that's right. I guess our last 3 years of Division 3, we finished either top or second and made prelim final or grand final each year. So we're always up there, up and about. But I guess with the addition of a few new blokes this year, it's really sort of built our side up into a really good Division 2 side, I think.
And on a personal note, how would you rate your season this year?
I guess I'm going okay. The boys around me, we've got a really good midfield. So Jacko and Dwayne and the 2 Sharpie boys are really good in the middle. So I guess it sort of comes down to them, really.
Has anyone really stood out to you as really jumping off the page to begin the season?
Well, I guess the new addition of Tommy Hill, he's been kicking a bag each week, even though he's missed a few. He always pops up and kicks 4 or 5 a game, so I think that's been a real good addition to our team.
Well, Adam, thanks so much for joining us here on EFL TV, and good luck for this week against Montrose and for the rest of the season.
Cheers, thanks.
Division 3 continues to get better and better, Peter Baird, and it's going to be tight, no doubt about that one. 2012 was tight, 2013 will be no exception, going on early season form. 2 teams who should be right up there come later on in the year in terms of finals will be Boronia and Doncaster. Now, the 2 teams meet this weekend. They've played 54 times. Doncaster currently lead the ledger 31-23. Plenty of meetings across Division 1, 2 and 3. How do you see this one playing out? And it really is a big game for Boronia.
Oh, it is. I mean, as you said, both teams have played a fair number of times over the years. They've sort of tracked each other's progression. They both started in Division 1, both went down to Division 2 at roughly the same time. They find themselves both in Division 3 now. But this is a huge game, particularly for the Boronia Football Club. They're currently outside that top 5. They can't afford to lose another game behind that leading pack. So for them, this is hugely important to take the scalp of a really top team in Division 3, stake a claim as a genuine finals contender. For Doncaster, though, they'll just be looking to put away one of those rising contenders and really make a statement that they're the team to beat in Division 3. It's going to be a ripping contest.
Let's get stuck into Division 4. And Frosty, a big game this weekend is between Surrey Park and Kilsyth. Arguably the 2 biggest improvers, I think, of 2013 so far, certainly in the lower division. How do you see it playing out?
It's going to be a really interesting game. They're definitely the 2 biggest improvers in Division 4 this year. Kilsyth, they were disappointing last year. They've only dropped the 1 game so far, and that was to the ladder leader in South Belgrave. Now, they're coming up against a Surrey Park team on the rebound. They went down to Ferntree Gully last week, who jumped out of the blocks and really surprised Surrey Park early. Surrey actually outscored them in the second half of that game. So they have improved. Whether or not they've got what it takes to take it up to Kilsyth is going to be really interesting to see. A huge return for them will be Liam Doidge. If he can get back on the track, having come back to his home, having played at Baldwin for the last few years, back home at Surrey Park now, if he can get out there, they're probably a 4 or 5 goal better side with him on the park. If he plays, I reckon Surrey Park might be able to get the job done.
Time for our favourite part of EFL TV, Peter, the EFL TV Play of the Week. And we had 4 outstanding nominations last weekend, but the people again voted with their mouses. Here was last week's winner, Play B.
34, 15. Handball.
Congratulations to George Angelopoulos, one of our favourites on the EFL media team, always very exciting, and those goal celebrations are normally just as good as his goals. Let's have a look at some plays for this weekend, or the weekend just gone, I should say, for this week's edition of EFL TV. Make sure you vote at efl.org.au.
Surely not. Surely not.
And plenty of haircuts that turn many people's faces around EFL grounds, Frosty. We've had a number of nominations so far throughout the season, but one flew across our desk during the week, and it certainly caught your eye as well.
It did. We were actually out at the game on the weekend, and it caught our eye out there as well. Have a look at this dude from Jackson Freeman from the Wantirna South Footy Club. The long curls and dreadlocks, whatever they are there. I tell you, it's ordinary Jackson. Maybe you need to take a leaf out of your old man's book, Mark Freeman, and just shave it all off.
Well, there you have it, Frosty. Another edition of EFL TV done and dusted. Week 7 coming up. And the radio game this weekend is Montrose against North Ringwood. A big battle of the top of the table there in Division 2. Always love going out to Montrose. A fantastic game, a fantastic ground, I should say, to watch football from.
Oh, it certainly is, and it's going to be really interesting to see if North Ringwood can bounce back. Good teams are able to do that. They've come up from Division 2. They're flying at the moment. Had a bit of a shock result last week. They take on the best of the best in Division 2, and I can't wait to get out there for the Radio Eastern 98.1 match of the day this Saturday afternoon.
Should be a ripping contest and should be another ripping edition of EFL TV next week. We'll catch you then.